So, you want to know if the 50th anniversary of The Godfather on 4K is worth buying. I know that because you clicked on this video. Well, I want to give a giant shout out and thank you to Paramount Pictures for sending me this early in order for me to make this video for you guys and show you what's inside. And I just finished watching it, so I'm going to give you my quick thoughts right now. And yes, I'm here to tell you if it's worth upgrading from these to this. Yes, I'm definitely keeping this one though, because look how beautiful that is. Yeah, I'm definitely not getting rid of this one either. Never been watched, still sealed. But let's get into the video. Hey guys, my name is Brandon, aka the BrandoCritic. Thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. I'm here to give you my honest thoughts on the Godfather Trilogy on 4K. I'm going to show you the packaging, what's inside in terms of special features, and my honest thoughts on the video and audio quality of these 4K discs. But could you guys do me a favor though? Could you do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button? I had to get that voice in there somehow, right? But let's look at this thing. So we have the Godfather Trilogy right here, and I will admit that I wish that we had more of a harder, more sturdy box, because this is just cardboard, right? As you can kind of see there, it's kind of flimsy. It does feel kind of cheap, but you know, I do like the design. It's very classy. But let's go into the discs here. And what sucks about this is maybe my minor OCD is kicking in here, but the discs are in these little cardboard cases. They're not in the regular Blu-ray cases, or they're not in these plastic ones. They are in these cardboard ones. And so it's not flush. I don't know if you guys can really see that, but it looks like all of the cases are kind of like in diagonal little zigzags because they don't line up with one another. Because these discs, I'll show you them, you know, they're just these tiny little cardboard pieces with the plastic right here with the disc. Now I will admit though that I'm happy that the disc is not in like a sleeve where you actually have to, you know, get in there with your fingers and touch the actual disc and pull it out. And sometimes when you got to really yank the thing, you feel like you're going to break the damn disc. So I'm happy though that it's easy. You just pop it out like this. You have the disc and you can put it in there. Of course, you see a lot of the characters in there like Vito and Michael Corleone. And of course you have on the back, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse. And unfortunately with this, fingerprints do show up pretty easily on these. But what's interesting is, you know, of course you have the Godfather Part 2. And these do come with digital codes, by the way. You know, that's the Godfather Part 2. But what's interesting is that the third one is not the theatrical cut from 1990 or 1991, whenever the film came out. It's actually Mario Puzo's The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone. So, what's interesting to me is that the newest version of the film, this is now considered to be the official Godfather 3. And what I didn't know was that Francis Ford Coppola actually wanted it to be called The Godfather Coda, The Death of Michael Corleone, instead of Godfather Part 3 when he wanted to release it back in the day. So of course you just have the regular disc, and on the back, just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in, Michael Corleone. So we actually have some bonus discs, which is a bit bigger, a bit more of a bigger spine. But what's interesting is you have Godfather Part 3, the feature film, in here on 4K, and then you have the Blu-ray disc of just the bonus features down below. So it is kind of funny how you have the theatrical version of the film just being put into the bonus disc section. So it's not even really considered the version of the film that Francis Ford Coppola and Paramount wants you to see. They really want you to see the Godfather Coda. And for me, I hadn't seen either version of the film, so I actually ended up watching this one. And yeah, Sofia Coppola's acting is as bad as everyone says it is. It's not a terrible movie, but I mean, nowhere near as good as the first two. So the packaging, I do feel like they did a good job with it. I'm not a big fan of like this really flimsy cardboard, because like you can see that there, and you can really see the white when it goes on your shelf, and you know, it's not bad. I mean, I guess you could just tape it together, but still, I'd like a more sturdy, more firm case for these three. And I guess with the cardboard, I wish that you had more of a spine like this for all of them, as opposed to like the really tiny ones, because you just don't get them all flush. It doesn't look as nice as it could with the packaging. So in terms of what you actually get in these discs, of course, this was released by Paramount Pictures, and all the films are in native 4K, HDR10, Dolby Vision, and it's 1.85 by 1 aspect ratio. And for me personally, whenever I watch a 4K movie, that is the aspect ratio I enjoy watching the most, because, you know, it fills up the entire screen. You get to see more of the picture. Sure, you get to see just like a tiny little bit of a black bar, but it's not like those really big black bars that you get in like a widescreen type of movie. You do see a lot of the detail in it. And of course you have the audio, which is just true HD Dolby 5.1, which is the exact same audio mix from The Godfather, the Francis Ford Coppola restoration in 2007 with these Blu-ray discs. So Francis Ford Coppola was fine with the audio in this, and honestly, the audio still sounds great today, so no big Atmos upgrade with these discs. And before I talk about my thoughts on the video quality, I want to talk about the bonus features. You do have a ton of legacy features on here, so it's not like you have to keep your Blu-rays because, oh, my Blu-ray copy has some special features that the 4K doesn't have. And I think, personally, whenever you release a film on home video, whether that be VHS, DVD, Ultra HD, 4K, whatever the case may be, you just want to load that thing with special features because, again, if you just want to watch the movie, then you're not going to really entice people to buy it unless you really want them just to hold the actual thing. Watching it on streaming, that's going to be the most convenient way to watch the film. Of course, you have, the compression of 4K, yada, yada, yada. I think a 4K or a home video release is really one and done by the special features. And this box set is full of them because they have all the ones from the Blu-ray and the DVD, but you also have some brand new 4K ones, including one called Full Circle, Preserving the Godfather, and it actually goes into how they actually went back and got those old film negatives where a lot of them were lost and a lot of them were in really bad shape, and they restored them for this 4K transfer, and they had to go back to the basics. And you really do see a lot of the work that had to be done, especially during COVID, and one of the guys was just doing it in his office, his home office. And you also get to see the restoration comparisons where you see the film negative and how they restored it, and it shows side by side with the 2007 version. And I always like that kind of stuff. You get to see the hard work and dedication put into the 4K transfer of this movie. And let's talk about it. Now, I gotta say, for me personally, this Godfather set is some of the best 4K transfers I've ever seen. It's up there with Saving Private Ryan, The Big Lebowski, funny enough, right? E.T. and Gladiator as just my 4K experiences that I will never forget. Where I'm just going, oh my god, that just looks fantastic. I said that many times in this trilogy. Not so much with the third movie, I guess because I was just so used to watching Godfather 1 and 2 at that point, but there are many shots in The Godfather Part 1 and Part 2 where I'm like, man, oh man, this is what 4K is supposed to look like. Because the detail in this movie is just astounding. One shot in particular was when Tom was talking with the Hollywood guy, because he wanted to get LaFontaine that role, and you see like the shadows on his face and the detail in the pores of his skin. I'm like, this just looks amazing. The black levels are astounding, especially when you see the title. You just feel that powerfulness. You're like, this is going to be an epic movie, and you just see just the contrast between the white title and the black background. It's great. And the HDR colors too, it's not too saturated, right? You still get that sepia tone feel, but you do have some colors that really just pop off the screen, like the reds where you have like the rose on Don Corleone's suit or Kay's outfits, and the taxi that she arrives in later on in the film where I'm like, oh my god, the red in this movie just looks fantastic. And throughout the entire trilogy, anytime that they're in Sicily, it just looks astounding. And I didn't really notice the grain because it was just extremely clean. This is a very, very good looking transfer for all three films. And my only complaints with it would probably be in the first film when they're talking inside. There's a lot of the shots that are kind of out of focus. And of course, like I said earlier, a lot of the shots and a lot of the film negatives were in pretty rough shape. So again, it's an older film. You're not going to get that digital look like you're going to get with a movie that was shot in 2022. And this is just me personally, but whenever I saw those older scenes with Vito Corleone in Godfather Part 2, I found it to be softer. It still looked good, but it wasn't as crystal clear as I thought I'd seen in other shots of New York City in Godfather 1 and Godfather 2 in the present day. But again, that I don't have any real evidence to back that up in terms of like, oh, the shots were whitewashed a little bit. Like Superman, that transfer was just awful in terms of the white balance and the white bleeding. I saw it a little bit, of course, when you have Vito Corleone going to New York City when he was just a kid. I saw it a little bit there, but maybe I'm just noticing a little bit of the softer picture. It still looks good. That's like my only complaint about this movie. It still looks, amazing. So it's a pretty simple, just the entire trilogy looks amazing. A couple shots here and there might not look the most sharp or detailed just because, they're shot inside. The camera itself was not in focus for some of those shots. Some of the characters are a little blurry just because of the focus on the day of filming. But overall, the Godfather Trilogy just looks fantastic. You really can get rid of these Blu-rays if you have them, because you get everything in these ones. But I will be keeping this VHS copy because, it's just like, for pure collecting purposes, you've seen it in the back of some videos before. Well, anyways, guys, I want to say thank you so much to Paramount Pictures for sending me this early. I really do appreciate it. And if you like this video and you want to see more videos just like this, then definitely hit like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Letterboxd, and Instagram at BrandoCritic, and also follow me on Patreon, just like these lovely people right here. And I gotta give a shout out to my sponsor at Movie Scene Canada. They've helped me a ton, put me in contact with a lot of these bigger studios, so a giant shout out to them. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching this video and sticking with me to the end of it. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I gotta throw in one more Vito Corleone impression. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. See you soon.